Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we are going to talk about one particular acting book, which changes the way I approach or understand the character. I have tried very few of the methods which this particular book is trying to say. This book is called Indian Method in Acting by Prasanna sir. So I've met Prasanna sir twice or thrice. I've tried to understand how he processes or how he teaches. I've never got a chance to learn from him. He takes his workshop in Mysore, like usually have like one or two workshops a year. Hopefully I'll try going this year, but I want to understand what's the reason behind writing the book. How it is very different from Stanislavski or Tony Barr acting for camera, which I prefer and which I like a lot, which is very easier for me to understand and get a hold of it. So let's start. I highly recommend for y'all to read this book, and I have written down 10 short points where I can explain what is this book trying to say, because this book has written a lot of things which cannot, according to my understanding, can be explained in a video. So I've written down 10 short points where I can explain what is happening in the book. So there's this line, it says the past, if it's not understood correctly, can create a problem in the future. For example, here, according to my understanding, they are talking about the backstory of the character. Like if the backstory is not strong, your instinct, your approaches, your thought process after a particular time period will change, and what the character is trying to show, or what the writer has written, and what the writer and the director wants to communicate to the audience, you as an actor will be a medium. If your backstory is not strong with your understanding, it will create problem in the future in the approach or understanding on how the character think and processes. So here, what all I have followed and which is mentioned in the book is like all the Western approaches we have, like Stanislavski, Uta Hagen, and the rest of the acting teacher usually talks about internal to external. Like they usually talk about the character's soul, and what comes from inside can be portrayed or showed outside. But in this book, the Indian method of acting tells you to go from external to internal. So for example, there's this point where they mention your action should be fixed first, then your emotion should come to that action. For example, how I used to have an emotion and let my body feel free to move according to it, and then according to it I have my action. But no, there's a reversal. They want the external or the body to be aware about it. In this book, it said that the process of internalization can only happen after the mechanical process. So they want us to have the action fixed first, and then the emotion should step in. So if you're doing a particular scene for the 50th time, you won't be able to put the same amount of emotion, but you can put the same amount of action, because the action is a mechanical process and your body is involved, and there's a body memory which can be used here. So in this book, it says that if you don't want to get stuck in a pattern of early speech, for example, every time we get stuck in saying our dialogue, this book says if you want to break your pattern and if you want to learn something new, action first, and then let the speech follow. Even before memorizing the line, fix that action. And action should not create a stain in actor's voice, body, or mind. If those kind of action you don't have a control over it, it's going to harm yourself. That any process will be against an actor harming themselves. They've said that the key to a dramatic action is to find the correct motivation. If you have found the correct motivation for a particular scene or a particular action, it can flow mechanically. But if you have not find the correct or the right motivation of that action, it's going to fall out again. There's a line in this where it says actors should choose to gesticulate only when there is a strong internal urge to do so. Otherwise, they should continue to act holding the same old gesture till the next strong urge arises. So, for example, over here, they are trying to say that an actor should hold a particular posture. For example, this is a posture, this should an actor hold till the time they don't find any other strong motivation to move your hand or to move your body or to move or have a different action altogether. So in this process, it's always talk about thoughts of an actor. But thoughts, it can't be random thoughts that cannot create a random action. A thoughts needs a motivation, but then a thought has no way to express itself unless the actor gives it shape. Thoughtfulness has the capacity to make the body of an actor lean forward in love, turn away in anger, repel against hatred, cry out in fear. Thoughtful action is thus the opposite of random action. So, for example, here the writer is trying to say that whatever action you're having or whatever thoughts you're having, it should be aligned and should be in a clarity to express for you to move freely, and most importantly for the other audience or the co-actor to understand what is the body trying to communicate. And for this particular book, I'm going to create or try to create two more videos where there are few points which I have written down, there are few points which I want to write, there are few points where I want to explore my body and see what particularly good comes out of my experiences. So yeah, so I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, take care.